2018, a crack YouTube unit was sent to social media prison by an algorithm for the crime they didn't commit. These producers promptly escaped from maximum security social media stockade to the internet underground. Today, still wanted by social media, they survive as producers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the Smash team.
All right, welcome to the live stream, folks. We're looking at the sun at 304 angstroms here. We see a bunch of filaments in the northwestern portion, very low solar activity, 10.7 centimeter radial flux now at 67, solar minimum conditions, and 0 sunspots. North Pole coronal hole is looking large, as well as the South Pole coronal hole. And we see a tiny bit of activity rising up over the eastern limb here, otherwise not a lot going on. Let's move on to a lot of other stuff, as there is a lot of other stuff to cover in the smAsho stream. Next thing we're going to look at is the stereo A coronagraph. Take a look at this real quick, blow it up a little bit for you here, and we see no sort of Earth-facing coronal mass ejections or anything like that. Let's move on to more data. Here's the location of the planets in the solar system. There's where they'll be in 1 week as Mercury swings past. Next, we're going to go a little farther out, and we're going to look at the real-time solar wind. Solar wind density, 3.44 protons per cubic centimeter. Solar wind speed down off of its yesterday levels at 396. So the coronal hole wind stream is ending, folks. And thanks, Harry and Mary, for taking the time to leave a comment. Here's what's going on above my head. I like to draw in the ecliptic. If you want to create a custom if you want to make a custom star chart for yourself, check out m-the-sky.org. Venus is just rising, just in front of the sun. If you've got a low horizon, check out Venus. It's going to look crazy. Now, if you want to do some citizen science projects, check out Zooniverse.org's Galaxy Zoo project, linked in the description below this video, as well as practically every other site we look at. Let's classify a galaxy to show you what it entails. This interesting spiral galaxy appears to have a satellite galaxy perturbing one of its spiral arms, noted right here where my pointer is. Let's classify it. It's got features. It's not an edge on disk. Is there a bar? There certainly is a bar. We'll say weak bar. Is there a spiral arm pattern? Well, most certainly there is. How tightly wound? Very tightly wound. How many spiral arms are there? I'm going to say 2. There is certainly a central bulge. And with that, I'll bring out the chat. It is a moderate central bulge. Is it merging or disturbed? We're going to say major disturbance. Again, that satellite galaxy right there. Apparently, it looks like it is not in the fore or background, perhaps interacting with that spiral arm. So it is an interesting galaxy. We're going to say there's a lens or arc, irregularity, a dust lane, possible overlap. And we'll save this one for posterity into the local smAsho file folder. And there you have it. It's as easy as that, folks. Check out Zooniverse.org. Don't freak out about that 2-color galaxy. That is a visual artifact similar to lens flare. Will you be the citizen scientist to classify this galaxy? Next, we're going to look at magnetosphere movies, as we do most days, looking at 4 hours of data, courtesy of University of Michigan Geospace Model. Here's the density. let that play all the way through for you. And we'll also look at the pressure as we do most days on these broadcasts. Anyway, there's the pressure. Nothing to write home about. Solar minimum conditions continue with a weak solar wind, no sunspots, coronal holes dominating the solar disk, and a 10.7 centimeter radial flux at 67. Next, we'll look at ground geospace magnetic perturbations here, getting a little closer to home, looking at what the poles are doing mainly as the current passes through the planet and indeed your head. Now, if you're viewing our videos from a different galaxy, planet, spacecraft, plane of existence, universe, or multiverse, please leave a comment, as cosmology is my main area of focus. Anyway, we see some pretty significant perturbations over the Canadian pole there, not so much over the Siberian pole as the South Pole continues to creep into the Indian Ocean. Check out smAsho.org. It's going to be changing very soon, possibly even today. And let me read the mission, which is to assist, study, and report on the ongoing formation of a unified theory of physics. Welcome to the Neo-Renaissance, folks. Physics is getting rewritten. Congratulations. Also, to raise the awareness of the general public of the relationship between space weather and Earth effects. Welcome to space. You live there. Also, to connect and consult with media organizations to multiply our reach. Tried to call the Glenn Beck Show yesterday. They didn't answer. To demonstrate cutting-edge proof-of-concept solutions to problems, such as how to get Google out of your life and how to grow tomatoes indoors over the winter. Also to publish scientific papers in a multidisciplinary manner, including but not limited to sciences such as spectroscopy and chemistry, astrophysics, health, wellness, longevity, cosmology, biology, magnetohydrodynamics, geology, etc. Also to assist mankind by advancing the study of predictive phenomena in order to optimize value, reduce risk and liability, and save lives and resources, and adapt no matter what the adversity is, and to not be ossified in our beliefs and treat those who are with love, respect, and inclusion to the scientific discussion, and to talk really fast and to keep these videos kind of short and full of information. So please support the channel in any way you possibly can, such as on Patreon. Thanks to our latest patrons on Patreon. We make custom ringtones and we put all kinds of stuff up here just for our patrons. So open up your moldy wallet and contribute $1 a month on Patreon, or perhaps send anonymous donations on PayPal. We are going to do credits, folks, so people who donate to the channel, you will be named if you want to be. Also, check out the links in the description for our Hemp Lucid Spaced Out campaign. Sign up for the newsletter, maybe buy your CBD products through our affiliate link and help support the channel that way. Hemp Lucid offering 30% off whole plant CBD hemp seed oil suspensions, as well as some of the Kalki products here, 300 milligram, as well as 1,000 milligram and 250. They got the water-soluble isoterp THC products for athletes, as THC is illegal in some sports. Also, things like waxes, gummies, and CBDs for your plants. So check that out. Support the channel if possible. Ensure that these videos keep coming out. Also, check out our cycling sponsor, theveloshop.net. Let me read the vision. The vision and mission is to assist those who've fallen in love with the bike and support them as they move forward in a beautiful adventure. So anyway, check out theveloshop.net for all of your cycling needs, whether you need clothes or a new seat post or a bottom bracket or a new bike. All new bike purchases are including a free bike fit, a $225 value, by 22-year professional racer Becky Quinn, also the shop owner. Also, if you enjoy the music, please listen to the music on soundclick.com/goldencapproductions. All the newer and more heavily produced stuff is there, available for purchase and streaming. And also check out some more Golden Cap Productions tracks on SoundCloud. Links in the description below the video as well. Again, 10.7 centimeter radial flux down to 67, higher than predicted values as solar minimum continues. Welcome to cycle 25, folks. Solar cycle 25. Anyway, the X-ray flux is still utterly flatlined. GOES magnetometer still showing some forecasted by me perturbations We'll look at the Gong 2 momentarily. KP index up from its lows around midnight back to 1. KP index at 1, folks. Goes electron flux looking pretty normal here. Charging hazards are non-existent. And the F2 layer is looking excessively discharged on both the day and nighttime sides. Especially the nighttime side. See that big red blob there? That's an F layer, not an F2 layer. So for you radio transmitters, having a bad day in the southern hemisphere. And that makes for a cold day in Antarctica. And it's going to be a cold day in hell when Greenland melts. We'll get to that later. There's the aurora forecast. They're looking pretty weak. Not surprising with an ionosphere and a solar wind as weak as it is during the solar minimum. We're going to skip cosmic rays entirely today. Here's the Enlil forecast. I'll let this play through from the beginning here. Keep in mind, this is just based on models, folks. It looks like the coronal hole wind stream that was forecasted for later tonight and early tomorrow has been downgraded. So again, solar minimum, folks. Welcome to the solar minimum and the neo-renaissance. As physics gets rewritten, here's the Gong 2. We are looking at the top view ecliptic plane field plot. Try to say that 5 times fast. Again, the perturbations in the GOES magnetometer are because of this variation in field force lines here. You can see direct lines that lead all the way to the corona, as well as ones that are bunched up in a bunch of plasma. So we do see activity right here, in about halfway in between stereo A and the Earth. Keep in mind, magnetic environments can change with absolutely no warning, and that this data is 1 hour and 43 minutes old. Follow me on Instagram if you want to see some more personal stuff. Here's a French fry recipe.
Oh man, there you see the soon-to-be air-fried French fries. I'm gonna put olive oil, salt, onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper. Oh yeah, in the air fryer. Oh my goodness, preliminary.
Spraying some olive oil, sprinkling some spices, put it in the air fryer.
And there you have it, finished product. Oh my goodness.
Super good, folks. If you don't have an air fryer, I highly suggest you get one. It could replace most of your kitchen. In fact, it could probably replace all of your kitchen if you went with an air fryer and a microwave. Check us out on Twitter also, if you like. It makes it easier for you to share our videos there. And thanks to all of you folks who are sharing our videos. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/smAsho, and on Gab, where you can see all of our recent videos here. Gab.com/smAsho, as well as minds.com/smAsho, the open source social media that is the real future of social media. They won't censor you. They won't shadow ban you. You could earn 468,000 views there like we did so far. So check out minds.com, the social media that is not a political hack. It's not subjective. It won't censor you. And what are you waiting for? You can even earn crypto if you get a lot of views. And lastly, thanks YouTube viewers for doing things like liking and subscribing and pressing the notification bell and commenting on the videos. We really appreciate that. And let's scroll down the comments. Please excuse me if I'm not able to answer every comment. And just bear with us 1 minute here, folks. I just want to allow all the comments to be seen so that everybody's typing is seen by the other viewers. Thanks for viewing, by the way, everybody that is on the live stream. We really appreciate that. And thanks to you viewers who viewed the video later. We appreciate that as well. Harry, the sunspots don't differentiate between the hemispheres. What we're talking about is the latitude of the sunspots. Solar minimum sunspots, end of cycle sunspots appear near the equator, beginning of the cycle, sunspots appear closer to the poles at higher latitudes. So it's not south hemisphere versus north hemisphere. It's just whether or not they're close to the equator. If they're close to the equator and at one polarity, then that's a cycle 24 sunspot. If they're far from the equator at the opposite polarity, that's a cycle 25 sunspot. That's the best way I can explain it. And for you new viewers out there, if you've never seen the channel before, we make these space weather videos every day for over a year now. So please press like and subscribe and press the notification bell. You may even see the videos coming out. We see a small downtick in earthquakes in the past 24 hours. Let's go through the list. We see a 5.2 at Indonesia, as California gets hit with thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of aftershocks following that 7+ magnitude quake centered on the China Lake Naval Weapons Test Facility. Here's a 4.1 in China. I mean a 4.9 in China. Here's a 4.3 in Indonesia. That one's at depth. Heads up Indonesia for a larger quake at the surface. As if you're not already prepared. Shout out Indonesian viewers. If you're able to see the videos, please leave a comment and let us know that you're not underneath a crumbled building. Here's a 5.7 in Indonesia. I believe that's the second largest quake in the past 24 hours, but don't quote me on it. Anyway, that one right between two quake boundaries, plate boundaries. Let's take a closer look at it. There's a location of that quake on the star where my pointer is. And let's get back on the list and let's keep going and keep this thing denser than uranium. Denser than depleted uranium tank armor or anti-tank rounds. And that's it. That's the last 4 magnitude quake, folks. So that's a lull in earthquakes right there. Earthquake downtick over the past 24 hours. Please remember, folks, if you're in an earthquake-prone zone, to be an asset, not a liability in the event of a disaster. Have things like a bug-out bag. Know which buildings may crumble in the event of an earthquake, as if you're stepping out your front door, it's better to have a facade not fall on your head than have a facade fall on your head. Speaking of facades, oh, we're not on the facade section yet. We're still talking about natural disasters. Speaking of natural disasters that are impossible to manage, how about some volcanoes? Here's Karimsky, still exploding, still producing an 8,000-foot ash plume, back on the list for less than a week. Abico, 12,000-foot ash plume there. Please do not attempt to fly your homemade ultralight helicopter over that. You'll have a bad day. Sanjiang Api, 8,000-foot ash plume there as explosive activity continues. Tokono, explosive activity there also, 6,000-foot plume. Popocatépetl, explosive activity there. Volcanoes be exploding, folks. 20,000-foot ash plume over Popocatépetl. Please do not pole vault Popocatépetl. You'll become part of the atmosphere and part of the lithosphere all at the same time. Revenador, explosive activity there as well. 16,000-foot ash plume. Sabancaya, 27,000-foot ash plume is the star of the day. Sabancaya, located in Peru. Flight level 27,000. Please do not attempt to broad jump the Sabancaya caldera. It will end in a catastrophic situation. Got a bunch of lightning over Arkansas. Next time you hear lightning, via thunder, that is, since you can't really hear lightning, check out lightningmaps.org. You may be amazed at the fact that you can predict thunder rolling in and freak your friends out. Here's an AccuWeather US Doppler radar map. Heavy storms over Nebraska, South Dakota, and Arkansas. And let's move on to the water vapor map. As a value-added service, there's still quite a bit of stuff to get to, folks, so stay tuned. We're going to let this weather porn play for one moment. Yes, it's a graphic display of water vapor, folks. A graphic display. As that low hovers, as we forecasted yesterday, if you don't know atmospheric physics, we'll cover a little bit each day, such as the fact that dry air tends to be colder and is always more massive than wet air due to the molar weight of nitrogen versus H2O. That's right, N2 is more massive than H2O. And when you get a significant percentage of that in the atmosphere, the air is lighter, not heavier. And that is why moist air gets trapped by dry air, as it is right there. We're going to zoom in on Arkansas real quick, as that is the leading convergence zone. Now, it's a good thing that all this dry air is mixed in here, because this dry air is going to weaken this system. However, it's also going to hold it in place, since again, dry air is more massive than wet air. And that is why we cyclists set course records on rainy days all the time. It's because the main thing stopping you from going fast on a bike is simply air resistance. So one of the ways we make ourselves faster is by getting out of the way and having an aero position for our bodies, which takes about a decade to get good at pedaling in. If you weren't aware, if you want to become a time trial specialist and you aren't yet, put in about 10 years of riding in a time trial position, and you might be there if you're good enough. Anyway, there's that convergence zone. Again, welcome to the neo-renaissance, where people start to actually understand atmospheric physics and stop claiming man controls the weather. For those of you who think man controls the weather, let me just explain something. That is an ass. That is a hole in the ground. Man doesn't control the weather. Let's talk about treason. Are companies like Apple, Facebook, Google, and Twitter guilty of
treason?
Ask yourself the question. The offense of attempting by overt acts to overthrow the government of the state to which the offender owes allegiance, or to kill or personally injure the sovereign or the sovereign's family. A betrayal of trust. Synonym, treachery. What do you think? Please leave a comment if you think big tech is a little bit, yeah, you get the idea. Hey, Mark, go zuck yourself, you mother zucker. You're a zucking fool. Guess what? Turns out censorship reached all the way to Ireland, where Zuckerberg admitted that the social media giant actively interfered with political speech leading up to the Irish abortion referendum. Now, these companies, they have a leftist mindset. So check out this article. It's at the shtfplan.com, and there are links in the description below this video. So when you're done patronizing our support links to keep our channel afloat, why not read this article? Facebook's CEO zucked pro-lifers and told them to go zuck themselves. We ended up not allowing the ads, Zuckerberg stated. Pro-life activist Lila Rose commented on how Silicon Valley tech executives have reacted toward the issue of abortion in a tweet, which can be seen below. Oh, yeah. Also, Facebook chief operations officer donated $2 million to Planned Parenthood. Yeah. Now, we're not all a huge fan of big tech. We've got some issues with big tech. And I do make original memes, by the way. I didn't download this off the internet. I make these myself. Censorship. Who needs the government when big tech will do it for you for free? Facebook's algorithms, well, let's just say they're less than optimal. Captain, censors indicate censorship, fraud, political bias, and spyware emanating from big tech. Did you know that Google, Facebook, Apple, and Twitter cannot break the internet, but the internet can break them? If not, we're glad to tell you. How about this article featured yesterday on the Glenn Beck Show? Spincork.com. Welcome to social government. Oh, yeah. Joe Rogan Experience 1292. It's really clear that someone in the company, whether it's up for manual review, whether it's at the discretion of the people that are the employees, without doubt, you're dealing with people that are leaning left. Ben Shapiro Show, 793. Why is Facebook answering that question from Daily Beast? The guy that made the slowed down Nancy Pelosi video. I don't know if you're aware of that. Also, Facebook refuses to dox any of the violent Antifa terrorists that use its platform. However, they're happy to give up the personal details of the Facebook user who uploaded a slowed video of Nancy Pelosi. So you can't dox Antifa, but you can dox political speech. Isn't that great? How about some pluralism? How about some economic and social pluralism? Anyway, links to this article also. Now, I've been railing on especially Google since the 2016 presidential election. It was super obvious Google, Eric Schmidt, and Alphabet were interfering with the election by intentionally altering search results and suggestions on Google. If you're still using Google as a verb and as a search engine, I have zero time for you. Zero time. Check it out. Here's an article about a true genius. Methed up gators, ducks, and geese, oh my, please don't flush meth down the toilet. And please, if you're in Tennessee, if you see this genius, I think he might have already been arrested, but if you see this smart-looking character here, he apparently illegally kept a squirrel in a cage and fed it meth to keep it aggressive as an attack squirrel. This USA article also in the links below this video. So have yourself a read. Let's talk about some global warming nonsense. Greenland is burning up, folks. Greenland is burning up. I don't know what we're going to do about it. Sea levels are going to rise 10,000 feet, and we're going to live in a water world. And we're gonna have a terrible movie filmed about the Earth because it's going to be a water world, and it's going to be produced by I don't know what's going to happen. But oh my gosh, there's a fire in Greenland. It's 10 degrees hotter than normal. Now, keep in mind, Greenland is very close. Part of it's in the Arctic Circle, and part of it's very close to the Arctic Circle, where it's sunny all summer long. And so, yeah, links to this article in the description also from Universe Today. Now, this fire's already been put out. We're talking about, well, this one's from 2017, and this one was detected on July 10th, apparently near a nature trail or something. So, oh my goodness, Greenland is melting. Sound the alarm bells. Notice how it's 5 degrees below normal over about half the country and a few degrees below normal over the other half and 20 degrees above normal there due to ocean currents. And it has nothing to do with carbon dioxide, if you weren't aware, folks. Anyway, links to that ridiculous article from Universe Today. And let's do a real global warming update. Here's the windy.com map. The area that we're referring to is way down here. Oh my gosh, there's no snow. Let's go a little bit east of that. And oh, there's more than 5 meters of snow there. So let's zoom back out. Oh my gosh, Greenland is melting, folks. Sound the alarm bells. There's only more than 5 meters of snow over most of the island. But since these areas here, oh my gosh, there's no snow. Oh, what are we going to do? Sea levels are going to rise, folks. Pardon the sarcasm. Sea levels aren't rising, folks. Hey, thanks again, Smash team. Check this article out. Oh my gosh. Give me back control of my own son of a bitching computer. Global earthquakes is 3 times above normal. Links to this article also in the description. This is the Economic Collapse blog. If you weren't aware of things like inflation about to hit, the Federal Reserve is going to lower interest rates. That's going to be weak for the dollar. And food prices are going to continue to rise for a solid year. If you weren't aware of that, well, Australia is now a net importer of grains. And U.S. experienced a 40% loss in grain stores in about March when all the flooding occurred following historic snowfall in the 2017 to 2018 winter, followed by historic snowfall in the 2018 to 2019 winter, followed by historic melt, which is usually what follows historic snowfall, and the wettest year on record last year. And we're definitely on pace to the wettest record on the wettest year on record this year as well. So do the math, folks. Do the math. If you think the planet's warming, I don't know what to tell you. Let's go back. Let's go back to the sun again. We're going back. Let's look at the 335 angstrom view as it's cool and blue colored. Very low levels of solar activity. We're looking at 48 hours here, folks. And it is about time to clear out of here. If we just shot Osama bin Laden in the face. So if you've got a comment or question to leave, please do it now, as we are out of here in T-minus 1.5 minutes. 1.5 minutes, we'll say. Folks, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw big tech boards of executives put on trial here, whether it's for actual crimes or just white-collar crimes like misleading the shareholders. If we saw SEC Securities Exchange Commission investigations over all 4 of those tech companies that I talk about every day, I would not be surprised. So if you see folks go into jail over this tech bias, don't be surprised, folks. Shareholders do not buy the stock expecting these companies to be as subjective as they are. And most leftists that I know are not in favor of silencing people's speech. Well, it's about time. It's about that time, folks. So thanks again for tuning in. Please don't forget to press like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Please share on your social media. Thanks, new subscribers. Thanks, donation. Thanks, donators, patrons, etc. Remember to stare at the sun. And when you're staring at the sun, not to drink, but if you drink, don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may the solar wind be at your back and the atherosclerosis absent from your veins.